All right, we are here in Columbus, Ohio, yet again, 614. We're at the Martin Luther King Library off Long Street, edge of Old Town East, driving park on the other side, posted, as they say, in the hood. Where I like to be, where I found the most comfort, obviously, because sometimes you find some diamonds in the rough. You find people that are equally passionate as you are. They have out of this world creativity sometimes. You got kids downstairs playing 2K, reading books, using a computer, just like I did 30 years ago, going run into the library ready to play Super Munchers or even play Fruity Loops. I was on making beats on the computer, downloading Fruity Loops, the free version. Shout out to FL. So I like being here. I've created here a few times, recorded some episodes, and we have a pleasure today to be with someone that we've been doing a lot of work to find our community and that's the tech world. A place that we want to make sure marginalization doesn't grow in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I consider the tech world like the modern oil surge that happened, right? And you had like multiple little different entities, and then you had John Rockefeller, right, who right there in Cleveland, dominated the oil industry, right, to a point where he took a lot of the smaller railroad companies and things like that out the business because it was just all contracts, handshakes, and orders. And we want to be able to be on the ground floor, I would say. I think we found that. But everybody, I'm sorry, introduce yourself. Tell people who you are.
All right. Well, appreciate you for having me on.
Most definitely.
My name's Steven Adams. I am an entrepreneur. I currently live in Columbus, Ohio. I had my son at 15, so I just understand finances a little bit differently.
Yeah.
I am from where you would say in the hood, from a town of like 8,000 people.
Okay.
My mom remarried and then, went from the hood to the suburb and learned that you can break a lot more rules in the suburb.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And you could also get yourself in a lot more trouble.
Oh,
so kind of been through it all, started my entrepreneurship journey young and eventually landed on the opportunity of technology. So I was a salesperson long before I became a marketing person, but I'm always operating other people's ideas, right? And so I've been learning and upskilling for many, many years and finally deciding what is the skill that I'm gonna, move forward. And I've just learned that my best opportunity is bringing people into a room and creating opportunities for other people.
Most definitely.
And that's how we started 614 Tech Week. And so was down
614 Tech Week is out of also Black Tech.
Black AI.
Black AI.
Yeah, so Black AI is a nonprofit that we co-founded earlier in 2026. And I was helping another gentleman in his entrepreneurial journey. And unfortunately, I gave him a very bad vice of buying websites. So it's my biggest vice is I love to buy websites.
Okay.
Sometimes I flip them, but many times I hold on to them for future ideas. And he was telling me about a website that he was able to purchase and was curious, how does he move forward with this idea? And so he offered me to tag along and join this nonprofit with him. So I'm technically COO, so Chief Operating Officer of this nonprofit.
Oh, great.
We've managed to be in 5 states, 12 different cities in a matter of just a few months. And, the biggest mission is just making sure that we're not left behind, to your point. We're tired of looking left and looking right and us not being in the room of technology and opportunity. And so we found it really cool to essentially buy pizzas, show up at a library randomly, tell the kids there's pizza in here, you're more than welcome to have a piece. And by the time they're done eating that pizza, it's our job to make them interested in AI images, AI music, building websites and apps, and getting them more involved. And, we don't have 100% conversion rate of everyone saying, I want to start doing this. Right. But for those kids that are interested, we're building an accelerator program where we can get them the help and the guidance that they're looking for, not only including help physically to get everything, but also laptops, Wi-Fi, consistent coaching, helping them earn their dollar. Exactly. So our goal is just to help private enterprise and put them in position to help other small local businesses in their area, building their websites, helping them build technology, and kind of proof of concept for something that they're accomplishing, showing them that it is possible, it can be done. Yeah. I don't believe that everyone's business needs to be a nationwide business. There's a lot of very successful businesses that operate just in a single county or a couple counties.
Most definitely.
So how
some of my favorite Italian restaurants are, because I love Italian food. Well, really, let me take Italian out. Some of my favorite restaurants are restaurants you can only find in that city. I'm not a huge fan of franchise chain restaurants. When I was younger, when I was like in my 20s or maybe my early teens, that was cool. Like, oh, there's a Johnny Rockets there. There's a Johnny Rockets there. But then I got older and I understood, like, this might be the only place that specializes in smash burgers.
Right.
And they cook it. This is the original place that cooked it that way, right? It's something about grandma that was back there in her original recipe and the stories that she tells about the people that she saw, how long the line was to get, this special type of thing. And there is like some gold in that, that I truly believe. I agree. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I had the ADHD moment. But.
No, I mean, I think you're onto something where people want something that's unique sometimes, right? And to find that opportunity to essentially go on an adventure, to hunt for it, to have something that is not readily available all the time. That's what makes it special.
Most definitely.
That's what makes art special. It's not something that can be easily recreated all the time.
Right.
Even with AI now, to generate something that creates and feels emotion is very different. Same thing with music. So just because people can generate something doesn't mean they can generate it where it affects many people. But at the same time, it could also be a very healing circumstance where people that don't have the ability, that are musically inclined, that are artistically inclined, but need a way to express themselves in order to get through the healing part of the journey, that could be a very expressive part of helping someone see or potentially understand or be able to marinate or based in the emotions that they're trying to feel, so they can get over that hurdle faster.
For sure. I remember one of my favorite shows growing up was the Jamie Foxx show, and I remember after he left the hotel, he was doing jingles. He was doing music. The show was always musical, but he specifically transition out of do a hotel work to start designing jingles for companies. And I think now, like, people still like jingles. People still want that tune that they can just remember or they can just say out loud and everybody knows what that tune is. And I wonder who makes the jingles and how are they made now, right? Or like,
well, I can tell you, I use AI to do jingles for financial institutions now.
Yeah, because why would they pay
$15,000
exactly
or more
when it's only like a 15-second blurb of a commercial, maybe even just at the end of the commercial, like dun 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 dun, heat and cool in there, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's all your is, and instead of paying some artist who wants to like act super like highfalutin, they can just pay someone who's good in tech and knows the sales business, knows the marketing, intersection, and can actually produce towards the company needs. Because I see that different than individuals who need the AI to make music specifically, right? Like specifically when you're making music, you're doing it to evoke a certain emotion. You're doing it to detail or speak of the human experience in a certain way. I can see where AI can be like, okay, now we need AI to lead a room here. We want to have this human emotion, or we want to channel this human feeling in a certain way. But when it comes down to like the businesses, and we're on the corner of Long and Taylor. There's East High to our right, and to the left there's an elite beauty and barber supply there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would probably estimate that we have a good bit of people that go there just to get like a brush, or like, maybe some weave, or maybe some clippers for barbers, things like that. What if we could, show that business owner, with the tools that we have here, is going to optimize your business, and I can show you how it can market your business in real time, that you build your whole department here, right? And it will yield X amount based on how you use this particular thing. I think that'll be a lot more attractive, unfortunately, than me dragging a world famous artist in and be like, hey, she's going to take a picture outside of your thing to say she was here. Yeah, there was a demographic where that meant something, but to the future, that doesn't mean as much. They, like, the future generations, I think, want to know, what is that generating for you? What do you think about that?
Yeah, so I think you're talking about like one-time activations versus like a consistent system.
Yeah.
And what I found is most business owners are really great at the thing that they started the business piece with. The unfortunate part is that business is normally a service, task, or a product that's being built. You find it less common with the products being built, but more the service and the tasks that are being done for folks, that they're busy doing the task. An electrician is being an electrician, an HVAC person is doing that, a barber is barbering, right? But running the business side is a whole different plethora of different skills.
Indeed.
And people have a crash course, which is why they say, like, it takes people multiple times being a business owner to figure it out, because they're normally doing the thing and then trying to figure out these other pieces, and then something falls apart. They take a moment to say, okay, what went wrong here? And then, okay, let's do it again. Now they fixed a couple things that they were missing, but now they've gotten farther, but now this other hiccup or hurdle that they weren't able to quite cross. And that happens more often so when people try and go at things solo.
Indeed.
When they don't have a team where, hey, this person specializes in the finance and accounting part, cash flow, EBITDA, and then this person focuses on sales and marketing, and then this person works on making sure the service, task, or product is up to par, quality check, and so on and so forth. So the hard part is when you are doing it solo, things will get missed, because you are a human being, unfortunately, right? So with that being the case, it's how do you build a team? And that's often hard when it's like, hey, let's do this thing together. We're going to do it for free for a while. And it normally works up until the large check comes in. And when a large check comes in, everyone starts to get funny about money. Especially when, people are normally friends, family, and they're saying, everything's a verbal commitment. People remember things differently about how much time, effort, and energy it's acquired to. So the biggest part in business owners why they forget to scale, or they don't scale, is because they know they don't have all their ducks in a row. They don't have their accounting together. And so they operate in this realm where they don't have to. They could be a larger company, but they are missing the pieces, and they know it to scale larger. And, that's the part that I like to help folks through, because it's not a difficult process, but it is a time-consuming process. And so how do we help them through that when they're busy, they're maxed out, they're on the verge of burnout? So how do you get them past that point?
How do you get them past the point, and how do you get them to a point where burnout is further down the road? You're not going to really, in my opinion, you're not going to avoid burnout, but you can avoid it too early, to a point where it's like, okay, because some people, like, I've been around certain people who they're just gonna work regardless. They're not gonna sit home.
I'm a worker bee myself.
They're going to figure out something else to do with their time. but they may not burn out because they know other things are working that they would have focused on. But further down the road, because they still needed to sit down, they're still burning out. But instead of at this stage, maybe burn out, you have some people who burn out just at the coming up with the proof of concept idea, just coming up with the idea and having to have, the one-on-one. Some people burn out at this stage because they don't have it to refer to or things like that. Or some people burn out at fulfillment, right? We would want them to burn out after fulfillment, right? After the goods are delivered, when they can now sit back and say, whoa, that was a lot more than I expected. I was fully engaged, but now I need to rest and see what happens after this. I think that's a more realistic space, you know what I mean? Because I think that keeps us from, because this technology, as you know, grows every day, maybe even by the hour, to be honest with you. And with that being said, the human condition of that is the lack of patience or just giving up because just a lack of awareness of what they fit in with it and how they, or as that business owner only doing what they know to do best instead of like those shadows of the business where, now that this part that you used to doing is optimized, that you don't have to do it as much. Let's go focus on some shadows here, which the AI will bring to your attention. Like, these are different things that you need to do.
A lot of people focus on what we consider business work and not revenue generating work. And so they're getting burnout on not prioritizing the tasks properly. That's a big proponent of, hey, I'm busy, I'm working all the time, but I'm not getting anywhere, right? So they're kind of running in place and just digging themselves in a hole that they don't quite understand. And
I
then
can see that.
They're frustrated because they saw the light and now it's dark and they're like, I don't know which way's up, down, sideways. And so that's a really big part. And the way to get around it is to have a coach or a mentor. We've all been in some sort of space and a sport, hobby of some sort where we're trying to refine our skills. And the way to get past that faster is to have someone on the outside looking in and say, hey, I see you spinning your wheels over here. I want you to make an adjustment from this process to this process, or prioritize doing this versus that, and watch the changes that happen. Oftentimes it's not we need to change the entire deck. We need to change 2 to 3 hours of your focus time from here to here, and watch the changes over time
I like
start
that
to happen.
Idea. That's more sustainable.
It is, because I'm a person that burn out, but like, I didn't do a vacation or like take care of myself for like 6 years. I was fully focused, right? But what I didn't understand is other people knew that every now and again I'd disappear for 30 days. And even though I didn't think that it was noticeable, other people knew that I had a cycle, that I had like a 2-year run, and then I'd disappear, and then I'd come back, and like that was my time frame.
I have a similar type cycle like that.
And
where I have high productivity. I'm producing at a high rate, probably way beyond what people would expect me to do or see me do. And then I'll just flush out cold, where it's just like nothing going on. Or like it's something going on in my real life, but nobody knows what's going on until that another surge of productivity and like, oh, there's Shem. Oh, this is what he's doing. This is what he's learned. And I think that used to be my kind of like calling card. So it's interesting hearing someone else articulate that as I wasn't taking care of myself in the right way.
Well, if you're pouring into other people and, one, the government considers a business a person, right, if you do it right. So, when you're pouring into something else, you often forget to pour back into yourself.
Indeed.
So how do you take care of your hobbies, your habits, whatever?
Indeed.
And, I found that really just laying in a hammock, staring up at the trees for an hour, I enjoy that, right? I enjoy getting into the water, the lake, the creek, and just kind of fumbling around for a while. Those are the things that recharge me. But there was many years I forgot to go fishing, I forgot to go hunting, I forgot to hike. I was so focused on the mission and getting there, it wasn't quite there. And it wasn't until Kevin O'Leary was discussing that he no longer hires workaholics. That, you know, he used to think that that's all he wanted to hire, but he found out that the people that enjoy pleasure outside of work are actually more productive.
They are.
And so
they have a great work-life balance.
Yes, and work-life balance is, I think, a word that should not be used in some of the ways that it's currently used, because it's different for everybody. Like everyone has, you know, 10%, you know, life and 90% work, and they enjoy and thrive in that, right? But for the most part, if you are not pouring into yourself in some way, shape, or form, that is when burnout's going to happen. And it's a matter of how hard. Does it everything come to a complete stop?
Yeah.
Do you derail yourself and ruin opportunities? Because we see that happen with drugs, alcohol, or other vice opportunities as well. People go down those rabbit holes. And luckily, I didn't have anything that destructive, but I have witnessed it. I've witnessed it where people did really great things, made a lot of money or had a lot of opportunity, and then when they went burnout mode, they really went off. You know, those people are normally great at whatever they do and overindulge, and they overindulged in some of the wrong places.
Exactly. That's a place that I've made sure that I am very cognitive of, because I do have a high motor, but then I can crash equally hard. Whereas it's like I almost can't do anything the next couple of days. I have to literally go, like you said, sit in that hammock and stare. And I don't have any children now, but I think sometimes to myself, like, God, if it were to me to have a child, do I have physically enough based on how my brain is engineered towards productivity? Or do I need to reassess, like, what's important to me and how I'm allocating energy towards what's important? So I do a lot more walking now, obviously, to make sure my heart rate is good. I'm 41 years old. Most men die, especially black men, die of heart disease. Not their inability to work. Actually, maybe working too hard, if, you know.
I mean, I think stress is one of the number one killers of men, and I think, you know, black men are definitely stressed out, and only in the last, I would say, 3 to 5 years has it been okay to talk about mental health as a man. And even, you know, just the last couple years have I seen black men specifically start talking about mental health. I do want to give a shout out to African American Wellness Agency for hosting Real Men Real Talk all around the nation. I think they're in like 20 or 30 different states at this point, several different cities. So look them up. It's worth a drive or a travel to go see them. You know, reach out to them if you want to start something locally as well.
I believe Michael Vick is supposed to be coming here on the 17th at East High as well with that agency. I saw one of the guys that works with that agency when I was at the Best Buy, and he came in after just told him, he said, "Brother, good work. You don't know me, but I follow the account, and the fact that this exists is a very impactful and powerful thing." So definitely shout out to the African American Wellness Action Community Association. You guys are awesome. Let's get back to the Tech Week initiative. You have 614 Tech Day, right, which is in the Tech Week, right? And to my understanding, you've been able to get buy-in from obviously Black AI, Land Grant Brewing, Vibe Connect, the Columbus Fashion Alliance, and you're able to produce a vibe code in SIP. Is that correct? Tell us how did that go? How did that go, and why was that important?
Yeah, so it was great. So we started 614 Tech Week with the idea of, okay, so if we're area code 614, we're gonna host Tech Day on 614, so June 14th, and that whatever week that is, that's gonna initiate the week, right? And to have a day where, you know, tech is so siloed between the different industries. You know, there's 20 different tech industries if you wanted to break them down, and probably even more if, you know, the super engineers wanted to discuss it. So how do we come together for a week of collaboration and opportunity and kind of colliding that way? And so on Tech Day this year, we wanted to do something simple and fun because we only had 55 days to make it happen from the moment we had the idea to the moment of execution. So we were like, how do we have something fun? So we wanted to invite the local leaders and all sorts of different enterprise companies and also local founders to come discuss, like, what does it look like to work with us?
Yeah.
What does it look like next year? And show them that we can put together something fun, exciting, and new. And so that's kind of what we focused on. And the vibe coding is a non-mental, difficult process to build your ideas. That's the way I like to describe it, is having fun building your ideas in one way, shape, or form. So part of it, we built websites, we built an app, and then we also built music. And people loved being able to build music and interacting with that for the first time.
High interactivity in the music function. Like, you were using apps like Suno, Lyric, with Gemini.
We primarily use Suno for that opportunity, just because it's the easiest.
Okay.
But I know another local founder that's like building his own platform very similar.
That's
so
really
like
cool.
you can
Shout out to you, man.
Yeah, you can do your own local opportunities where you can build the same thing for yourself. Like, he's building his own Fruity Loops with Suno combined, so he can build his own stuff.
That's gonna be hard. Probably in the palm of your hand too. You could probably make the beats like right there.
I imagine that he plans. Yeah, I imagine he has plans to do that. I actually just got the demonstration yesterday.
That's really cool.
But to see someone that was so passionate about it and like, hey, I'm tired of paying for subscriptions. Why don't I build my own? And then using, the different opportunities. And he is not a coder at all. So this is somebody that has zero coding experience whatsoever, building a platform that he is now able to use to make and generate his own music without a monthly subscription.
That's really cool.
So him taking the time and effort to accomplish that is what is really interesting. But back to the Tech Day and Tech Week, we had 34 out of 40 RSVP show up, which was amazing. We had an additional 34 to 38 people show up just to come see what happened. And then we had another 20 that walked into the room because we had a big activation day and part of the 614 day.
This was the first one.
This was the first one.
Yeah, and I knew about it just from the Instagram algorithm. Honestly, I didn't know you personally. I knew where we wanted to go with display marketing and meet the innovators, and that was to the intersection of tech and culture. We were already doing a lot of cultural relevant media work, putting together events that were gamey and music. So we were touching tech a little bit, more like emulation, PS5, bringing back old nostalgic games, things like that. Creating content out of that, using the tech, then teaching the creatives how to use 614. You teaching 614 creatives on how to use a Gemini at the time. So, me thinking, okay, what's the next step? We want to be able to be engaged locally. We want to be able to connect and build community in the tech world, but also kind of like opening that door to the everyday person that wouldn't be in this room that follows our culturally relevant type of topics and style of storytelling. So I saw your Instagram, which was XMR_008X, and I was like, this has to be a tech dude. Just it doesn't. I don't even know what that means. I'm just gonna follow in 614 Tech Day. It literally was probably like maybe like 2 or 3 to 4 weeks before you had 614 Tech Day, and I remember I'm like, this might be a AI bot himself. I'm just gonna DM and talk, and you were so approachable to speak with. You were open to connecting. We asked how we could be a part of it, and you were just like, share and subscribe or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's easy. Boom, let's get it done. And that's exactly what we did. So
I appreciate that for the record, because there's people I know personally that are like, hey, how can I help? And I'm like, comment, share. And one like or no likes is part of what they did. And
most definitely,
as a marketing person, people need to understand, like, to like, share, and comment and share for your friend is the same thing as putting money in their hands.
Yes.
So if you do that enough and frequent enough, you've given me actually a ton of money and opportunity and engagement socially. So I mean, if you don't want to
network,
if you don't want to pay me, like, share, comment on my stuff, which does take a moment, but some people act like their Instagram feed is the most precious thing in the world, and I'm like, at the end of the day, like, you're not making money with your social media, so why would you not show it to one of your friends, family members, or someone that you're associated with would or might like to participate in this? And I think it's not the one time you share it.
Right, exactly.
So on average, it takes 17 times for someone to see something for them to engage with it. So I don't need it just once. I need it multiple times. And if you can't do that for me, at the end of the day, I'm not going to trust you with any more important tasks. If that's not what you're capable of doing,
Right. And I think both of us come from a sales and marketing kind of background. I deal a little bit more in political messaging most of my time. I'm recently just gotten into more of the sales aspect, and now I'm doing work with supply chain management, logistics, and stuff like that, which adds to. But coming from that background, we know we have a strong why, right?
Yeah.
And you'd be amazed on how many people have their Instagram, but they don't have a strong why, or the why that they have is just strictly self-serving. You know what I mean? It's strictly self-serving. It's not to generate community. It's not to show people what's cool. It's like, listen, this is what I'm eating today. This is my favorite music. This is 50 selfies of me and my hair and my nails, or, me licking my lips, for ladies. Whatever the case may be, it's just that we know we created display marketing in 2014. We created that account with the sincere obligation to create community and to get our type of messaging out. That in 2014, nobody else was using social media really from a marketing perspective. They were still taking pictures of their food, doing selfies and ussies. And I was like, that is not going anywhere, right? And I was like, oh, so they're giving me a device in my hand to take pictures and publish. Oh, you know what I mean? So what I first started doing was going to events, taking, pictures with the event coordinators and people who were putting together an event, doing like summaries, taking a picture, because using my face card, which was an old form of marketing, which still exists, using your face card, using your word of mouth, which is still strong, but doing that online. And then Wednesdays, we would have what we call Breaking Point Wednesdays. And Breaking Point Wednesdays was sincerely a motivational quote day. We would just find pictures of motivational quotes to just throw up, because we wanted people to get beyond their breaking point. So we did that for 5 or 6 years, and then I started doing my own events and connecting to artists and finding ways to, instead of like having the person to do the flyer, we were doing all of that stuff in-house, and using just our platforms to storytell about the brands that we knew and who we were. And you consistently do that, you eventually like, okay, you corner kind of a little market in South Carolina, the 85 corridor between a little bit Atlanta, Greenville, South Carolina, Spartanburg, South Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, towards Columbia, and a little bit of Tennessee. And then you're like, okay, well, if I'm getting followers here and in this very small market, and it's kind of inspiring other people to kind of do the same. This is like 2018, 2019. We opened up a lounge in 2020, so we started getting in-person activation work, booking acts, booking shows, letting people have a good time in our lounge, and me doing the same thing, taking the pictures with the influencers coming in, telling the influencers to come in, tag us on display marketing, doing that, and kind of hitting that glass ceiling where it was like, okay, we're doing it well here, but we're the big fish in a small pond. And not to disrespect where I come from, but I knew that there could be more because we were showcasing work to people who had already seen the work, right? And now I'm looking at it like, okay, now we're just playing a popularity game, and that's not what marketing should be. That's when I said I need to come out of the 864 market into a bigger market, which is the 614. So that crowd that follows that account now sees Columbus as an activation spot, and they see the brands I'm associating here. Now they see expansion, which changes the storytelling from 2017 to 2018 to a more modern look of like, instead of me asking, hey brands, you want to put your brand on our page or whatever, it's like, no, here's our stuff now, put it up, Shem, because we know you have different eyes now, same eyes but with different eyes, and that's the story of where we're at now. And that's why I'm really excited about, you know, a particular partnership, and 614 Tech Week even becoming, we becoming a brand on that particular place, because it justifies our movement here. Even though we've had a couple events where we want to take these events, this brings that cornerstone in, and we talked about obviously generating and driving revenue. So
yeah, I mean, rising tides raises all ships, right? And so I think a lot, especially within our culture, is we try and do it solo.
Yeah.
Because we want, subconsciously, we want the ability to say, I did it myself.
Yeah.
Now,
Sure.
I will say that no one that's done it has done it themselves,
Most
right? Because I mean, even Soulja Boy, which was one of the first people on social media to do music and make something like pop virally, like he was the first.
Yeah.
He did not do it solo. He had multiple people in the dance. He had the video. He had the
A-Rap
editor.
music. Shout out to A-Rap.
Yeah. So I mean, as much as we'd love to say we do it solo, that is ego and vanity talking.
Exactly.
Right? And social media has a place for our ego and vanity to kind of run a little wild. And so, I try and remember that we're all human and we're all trying to keep our sins in check. And all of these different tools has an escape for us to just get way out of line with what we're all personally dealing with. Right? And so some way, shape, or form, it's a matter of how do you use that in the most positive way possible without it, being a slippery slope to the dark side. And, we've seen social media used on both sides, right? It's helped change the world and change positivity, but it's also a place of negativity where it can get really sticky really fast, where, people have killed themselves over social media.
Oh, yeah.
They've been through, lifelong depressions and vices that start from social media. But we've seen people also go from nothing to something back to nothing on social media. So we've seen it where it can be a great opportunity, but for many people it gets very sticky, as life just has a way of just showing your true character when opportunity arrives.
Oh yeah.
And so everyone thinks,
when opportunity is denied.
Yeah, you're not completely wrong there. Would you explain that a little bit more from your perspective?
So, especially when we talk about our people, right? It's only recent memory have we had this level of opportunity, visibility. Like when I say recent, I mean even the last 25 to 30 years. Our parents' generation and their generation before, a lot of even women weren't even in leadership. Right, we just start there. Not even black, white, green, or purple. Just women specifically, not in leadership. Now you think about men, it was a very small margin of black men in leadership and having opportunity to bring more of us in, or just being the head of the table, saying we're the ones creating the opportunity. We celebrated the first black president, right?
Yeah.
Barack Obama, and that was 2008 and 2012.
Yeah.
We needed that pageantry for mental wellness in our community. It was something that older generations urged, and they cried seeing, because that was a moment that they thought they would never see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did they deserve it? Yes, there was plenty of men that had ingenuity.
Mm-hmm.
Eli Whitney created the cotton gin. You know, Benjamin Banneker designed Washington D.C. as a freedman. Like, there's multiple stories. Ella Baker helped lead on the civil rights movement. She was Shirley Chisholm, ran for office. Like, these are people who were highly capable, but
highly respected as well,
but did not get the opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what did they do with that? Right? What did they do with that hearing no, that it's not your time yet, or we don't have enough room for you, or the program is full?
Yeah.
Right now, there is someone that has just been told that the program is full, right? And it's just a digit on their computer. They can literally backspace and type 7.
I did forget that does happen.
So, you know, we have to also, with these tools, because tech allows you to be very imaginative, but the human condition is what drives the innovation to a point of need where it's really needed, right? It's needed here, not here. Because if we drive it here, this is where the pain point is, which is a marketing term. Like, you don't want to exhaust all your resources and give it everywhere, but if there's a lack of opportunity, but there's a high talent base here, right? That is that pain point where things, but before we got there were people that were talented that were coming across this non-moment of opportunity. And on the other side, what were they doing? This is where I hear a lot of, in the past, what I've heard is the only thing that's been available, especially for Black men, is picking up a ball or picking up a mic, right? Rapper Go to the League was 2 Chainz's album, because a lot of people, some of these individuals probably could have been top of the engineering department and had the grades and everything, but once they applied for the engineering position, oh, you're going to get entry level, and they looked at the money and they were like, wait, that don't even add up to what I went to school for. And then or you have the story where they get the entry level position, right, as part of a affirmative action particular type of space, right? They get in the corporate space, they see everything that they've worked tooth and nail for, and they're reporting to someone who didn't go to school, right? Find out that his uncle or his pops were actually the people who put the company together, right? And you will never supersede this man, because it's in his mind, the opportunity is his birthright, not something he has to qualify for. And we're taught we have to qualify. You don't qualify, the program is full. We don't have enough. Like, or it's too many of you guys. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and I will definitely agree with what you're saying, that the opportunity to carve out a spot for yourself, previously was probably the most difficult thing to do. To say it's easier is a very light word. It's possible. It is possible. Easier than what's possible in many other countries, which is why America's still the best, in my opinion, is that you can carve something out for here.
For sure.
But to carve something out means that I'm going to carve it out, potentially not for me, but for my next generation. Sometimes it's, I have to work my entire lifetime to put the remainder of my family on. I may not get to reap the benefits of these rewards. So I will definitely agree to that. And, you know, to your point of like the program of a pain point and opportunity, I mean, Black women have 100% taken advantage of that entirely. I mean, Black women.
Good for them.
Yeah, Black women from all data points run enterprise level companies from the top better than any counterpart. So, and that's
More
minority women in
organized.
general, you know, but
The whole nine.
yeah, so they've definitely done their thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, way better than black men a lot of the
Yeah.
times, right?
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to, without some data, I would say that the black super wealth of black men, you know, they were immediately challenged with just as many black women coming up along the ranks,
sure.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it all happened so fast, and you know, that's scary for a lot of people in a lot of different places.
Mm-hmm. As it should be.
It should. Well, it just shows that, you know, as our cultures, we're very creative. We have a work ethic that, you know, is hard to find.
Yes.
But I do believe, you know, a problem in our culture when you're talking about, you know, it's either, you know, ball or rap kind of deal. We oftentimes, we don't think about the future. You know, to make it to 16 is a blessing. To make it to 18 is a blessing. To make it to 21 to 25. Make it to 30, you're like, fuck, now I have to start really planning. And then you also have one other point that I was gonna say. So on that point, but also because I was just talking about like thinking in advance of time. But also the home run. Yeah, the home run, the all or nothing. I think that is a huge proponent of like black men and just men in general. Yeah. Where we want a all or nothing kind of situation where we're either gonna make the most amazing thing happen, or we're gonna crash, burn, and die and be like, well, we tried. Right? And I think there's a lot of mental health that comes with that. There's a lot of pressure where it's an all or nothing caveat, because especially for men, when you're doing really great, everyone's around you patting you on your back. But when you make a mistake, even privately, people will not pick you up. Exactly. You know, or you know, the fact that they're only willing to privately pick you up, and in person they're you know, you're still an outcast. You know, I think that that initiates trouble that not everybody can get up and past. I've seen it. I want to say that I haven't experienced it, but you know, I'm not reflecting deep enough right now. But I will say, like, carving out a space in the world has been difficult, and you have to show that through showing up when you don't want to, showing up for an insane amount of time. Most definitely. I mean, my mentors, when they gave me time, I put everything else on the back burner to get that time, knowing that for someone to invest time, money, and energy into me as a person, that had wealth, status, and opportunity for me, that's something that you can't really buy. Most definitely. And so, you know, that's what led me in the opportunity of being a C-level executive with no degree, right? But I also didn't become a C-level executive at a multi-billion-dollar organization. They were around 97 million, right? So still a decent sized organization, but not, you know, the biggest, largest enterprise companies. Right. So just understanding that without a degree, I still only had a space. And then my CEO at the time was saying that, hey, if you want to take my position, which I see that you probably could and would do great things, I need you to go to school. Yeah, I need a paper beside your name. Yeah, and you know, it's just to say, because even though they would put me in that position, in that particular field, they don't make the decision. A board of directors do. So if you're gonna apply, even though you've been here 5, 10, 15 years, but these other people are applying that may not look as good on paper, but they have a degree, how do we make sure that you are just as qualified as them? Right. So understanding that I have to make a decision of if I wanted to go any higher, even though I'm great, even though that my numbers are something you can't deny, other people trying to make the best decision and the best interest for the company, the group, they're still gonna use what's been taught and ingrained into them, and that paper is important. Yeah. And that paper is important depending on what industry you're in. But when I'm in corporate finance, that degree does mean a lot. You know? For sure. For me, I had to make a decision. Was I going to? Was I not? I decided I'm not. I decided that was the highest that I would go, and I'd be happy with that, and that'd be my own decision. Now, that doesn't mean I can't land the CEO spot elsewhere, but it does mean that, you know, it's going to change my trajectory where it's uncertain for so many years. You know, and I ended up stepping down from that position so I could work from home 24/7, you know, so That way I can exercise on my business and the other opportunities without.
It goes to your work life balance being.
To make the decision of, do you want the title and status, or do you want the freedom and flexibility?
And that's where I'm at there. You know, I was in a position and even offered a position where the title sounds good. The even the working environment was very comfortable, but it was going to take so much of my time. And I had to really look at how much I was going to earn and say, is that all you can do in this amount of time for this huge entity that won't even see your impact because there's such a huge entity? Or could you learn a little bit more about this particular process? Go to a place where it seems like the guarantees aren't just laid out for you. You got to kind of swim, find it, use your personality. And then within that, you'll have some autonomies, which is your freedoms, to be able to express and do the things you need to do. That other job I would have gotten off at 6 o'clock, but I would have been there literally all day, and I would have not had any kind of evening to do so. And that institution believes in being the institution, and it was known, like, listen, you do a lot of things outside of work, and that's great. You're not going to have time for that. And I have to think, like, okay, all right, do I desperately want this one prize while diminishing all these gifts, or do I lean more into the gifts, mine them out further, see what wealth I can extract that's going to get me through while I learn, get that skill, extract that gift, now build, right? And maybe I won't be on the level of this entity, but it will serve my overall happiness.
And your education.
And my education.
I call it a skill espionage, where you're working for someone not for the money or the job or the title. You're there to work for a skill. Someone is paying you to learn a skill that you would have to figure out a lot longer on your own.
For sure.
So when I was younger, a lot of that opportunity, I did a lot of skill espionage where I worked for somewhere for 3 to 5 months just so I could figure out how do I add this skill into my business. Because I did not go to school. I did not have mentors readily available in my younger years. But I remember when I first decided, because I had my son at 15, when my son was about 3, I was doing something I shouldn't be doing, thinking I was smooth. My son seen it. He said, hey, what'd you hand that person? And, that was like a wake-up call that, like, I think he's not noticing and he's noticing. And so I made sure that, like, a week later, like, that was my decision of I'm not going to make illicit or black market dollars anymore. I went into 2 years of the brokest I've ever been.
I'm sure.
I've
changed your whole lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking, I'm making a cool 70, 80 G's a year, supplementing quite a bit of it. And, I'm making 12, 16 G's a year now. Like, what's happening?
How do you...
Ego, relationship, family, everyone's wondering, like, you had all this, all this money, now you have nothing. Where, like, you're struggling to keep food in the house each week, you're struggling to pay bills, your daycare is $900, I didn't have enough money for daycare each month, where I'm doing on a credit system, trying to do weird office jobs and trying to just
stay afloat.
I got to go on Craigslist, to figure out the week, because that was back when you can get the odd jobs of, hey, I need this furniture moved in my house for $40.
Still exists, right?
So, how do I do that? And it took me, it's sad to say it, but it took me 2 years to figure it out from that point to upskill. Where
You're
eventually,
speaking to somebody's soul right now.
And I'm gonna tell you, like, it was 12 to 16 G's to 24 to 30 to doing my own business, being comfortable in 30 to 50, and then coming back C-level, making 80 plus, and then 100 plus.
You call that a shake back.
You
shook back.
I'm gonna tell you that even now it just takes my breath away that that's what it had to go through, and there was still some punches in there, where the tire goes out, the engine goes down, the car, something breaks, right? And so like you're dealing with that moment where things are just starting to get on track and then life happens, right? And it's just so difficult, you know. So like life is gonna life no matter what. But I'll tell you that the decision to I never have to look over my shoulder again, the decision of I can comfortably drive anywhere in Columbus and feel like I'm not going to go to jail. I can travel any way that I want to. I'm not tied to a phone or a purpose or having to be somewhere for some unexplainable reason to my friend, family, girlfriend, my son. So, you know, my son is now 16. You know, he's in college, you know, at 16, he's been going to college for a couple of years. He's been smarter than me since he was 10. You know, took an MIT at 10 where I wasn't even thinking about school my entire high school career. So I had him going into my senior year. So when I tell you, like, I got emergency custody like 2 days before school started, it was nuts. And so it was a hard knock life.
Became a man real fast.
Yes, and I was known in the guy, like I was the guy at school that had a kid. That, you know, like, I don't get to go have fun and fuck off and do all these things. I'm trying to make a buck and take care of the kid, like where
and get some sleep for yourself so you can enjoy some life of a teenager, you know.
Yeah, well, I would stay up late, so I would stay up super late trying to engineer music for folks. And you know, I was really good at my craft, but people wouldn't do the cost of business. They wouldn't pay for the beat. They wouldn't take it serious. Okay, now that we have a paid beat, what do we do next? We do the marketing. And I'm doing my job. Everyone has their task and their skill. I'm not going to do everything for you, right? I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'm doing this because I'm learning. I'm learning my craft. I'm getting great at it. But when other people don't start fulfilling their end, you're really on a sinking ship. And sometimes you're already drowning and you just don't know it yet.
For sure.
Right? So it was a real eye opener to just see and discover. But you have to go through these opportunities to look left and look right and be like, I think we're taking on water. Now, you can tell people, hey, the ship is sinking, and some people are going to look at you like you're crazy. So you can stay on until it's too late, or you can build yourself a raft and float elsewhere, or you could jump off and swim elsewhere. But sometimes you have to say, hey, I can't save everybody here, and just leap. And so, you know, I did have to do that where, you know, in a weird way, like a lot of my friends did go to jail. So like it made it easier to get away from everybody. But during that time where not all of them were in jail yet, there was a lot of, I'm trying to do something better over here, but when I get that sliver of spare time, I'm gonna go hang with the homies. I'm gonna go talk, I'm gonna go
you need that.
Jaw it up, right? But at the same time, like, I could be making better friends that are putting me on to better things, right? So even though I'm over here trying to preach, they still only know me as who I was, right? You know, Jesus couldn't do miracles in his own hometown, right? So the people that knew you, they only know you as that. So even though you want to change, you know, I was not a nice person when I was younger. My family still views me as this not nice person, even though I have changed. And even though they'll acknowledge that, their initial thought is like, wow, he's an asshole. But they're like, wait a second, I know who he is. He's way better than what he used to be. But that initial profile, that folder that they have on who you are as a person, it's only crossed off. It's not forgotten. It's not erased. It's just crossed off. It's still there. And even if they erase it, you can still see the lines where, you know, they can still say, this is who you are, this is what you are. So understanding that, like, you know, the best opportunity is to meet new friends, new people, and to show that you are a changed person and continue that relationship forward in that way. And that's what's made the biggest difference for me, is because now I can hang with people that when I, you know, maybe tell a story about who I was or show photos or videos, they're like, there's no fucking way, you know. And it's like
no,
that's who I was, that's what I was doing. And people would just be like, there's just no way that there's no way that could have been you, young sir. You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm very blessed to say, like, I've met and done business with billionaires. I've met some of the wealthiest people in the world where they're coming to me for financial advice, where I don't have the finances as them, but people with wealth respect knowledge. And if you have the knowledge, if you have the social structure of proof, they want to hear and learn from anyone and everyone that has the information. And so that's what I learned, is that if I can't be the money guy, the next best thing to do is be the knowledge guy.
Oh yeah, that's where the wealth is.
Yeah, well, yes. So there's a big thing that people normally say, like, knowledge is power, right? Yeah. And that's everyone loves to say that, but knowledge without action is just entertainment.
Oh yeah.
So like
intellectual entertainment.
Yeah, and so you have to have the action piece behind
Most
it.
Definitely.
So a lot of people get stuck in the learning curve and they just want to learn because it's comfortable. Hey, I'm still learning. Like, if you've been learning for 4 years and haven't put action behind it, you're really just entertaining yourself. And often that kind of education does get expensive.
Yeah.
And so I know people that have spent $25,000-$30,000 in real estate or trading education and still haven't flexed a muscle. Where I know other people that spent $200 in education, but also started putting their money up to learn and figure it out, that got way farther ahead.
Oh yeah.
That they either learned this is what they want to do. Exactly.
Application. And we want to leave you guys with some actionable stuff while we're wrapping up. I think the library here closes in a few minutes here. But we want to do this particular broadcast for our community. So you're going to see more of this, and we want you guys, if you like what you've seen, we want you to leave a comment. We want you to leave a comment if there's anything that you heard resonate with you. We want you to drop that in the comments. Tell us where you're from. We would like to even come out there and maybe engage with you guys. If you guys want to follow us on Instagram, your Instagram is
X Mr. 008 X.
Yes, sir. And of course, I'm Mr. Auto, SHEM-E Auto, and Display Marketing is the marketing imprint. And obviously, give big shout out to Substack for giving us opportunity to consistently publish ourselves, self-publish, and gain a particular fan base and people like yourself that want to cultivate community. So shout out to Substack and YouTube and all the other platforms that you hear this from. Stay tuned. We don't have a name for this particular broadcast, but you'll see it eventually. We'll name this conversation later. Word to Joe Budden. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for the time. Hope you guys stop back in and check in with us. We got some really good goodies on the way. All right, so less than 5% back.